Hello everyone, I'm CZ Lumen and this is StarCraft2. This is match 2 of 2 between these two players, MaSa versus DisK. MaSa playing as the Terran forces in the upper right hand corner, with DisK playing in the bottom left hand corner as the Protoss forces. What we saw last game was a rather crazy game of not necessarily a base race, but a base trade, with both sides destroying each other's main base and having to rebuild on the opposite side. What we have here is probably going to be a repeat. We're going to find out here in just a second. MaSa built a proxy barracks followed up by a proxy factory, which created a bio ball supported by tanks and just locking the Protoss into that natural. And Protoss was able to break out using a warp prism and getting as many probes as possible to safety and building back up, but just never countered the bio tank army and eventually just lost that war of attrition. Terran was able to build up properly in the back of that and just fight back. So here we're going to see probably an early Reaper coming in here to harass the Protoss as much as possible. We're going to see if there's any deviation of strategy and tactics by either players. Okay, there's the Zealot coming in first. I wonder why Zealot first. Like, why not a... But, well... Not wait. I mean, having a Zealot out to try to take out any Marines or Reapers is very helpful. I'm not a Grandmaster or Master player by any means. I'm just a... I'm probably more of a Bronze or Silver player. So... You can take my advice here or suggestions with a grain of salt. From here on out, when I call out a unit comparison, hello everyone! I'm CZ Lumen and this is StarCraft2. What I have for you here is match 2 of 2 between MaSa and DisK, with MaSa playing as the Terran forces in the upper right-hand corner, DisK playing in the bottom left-hand corner as the Protoss. From here on out, when I call out comparison numbers such as workers or army, such as 13 to 14, the first number is going to be the Terran forces, with the 14 being the Protoss. This is going to just help simplify any quick calls and comparisons between army sizes, work sizes, minerals, or resources lost or anything like that. And let's have a good clean match. Now what we saw last game was MaSa building a proxy barracks with a proxy factory and then pumping out Marines and tanks, siege tanks, that just walled in and kept the Protoss forces at bay. Protoss was able to break out using a warp prism, saving as many of his probes as possible and using forces on the opposite side of the map to basically eliminate each other's bases. But Protoss was able to stay in the game with a Nexus being built and a hard economy following up suit, with Dark Templar acting as the first line of defense and holding out the Terran as long as possible. However, that being said, no counter to the Terran Marine tank forces was ever built, only Zealots and Stalkers, and that turned out to be not enough to break the Terran forces. So we're going to see if this is going to be a repeat of the last game here. I don't think this is a very long game. I think it's less than 20 minutes. So we're going to see if Protoss is able to pull a rabbit out of the hat for this victory, or if Terran is going to take home the win. We do have a fast expansion going up by the Protoss player. Looks like pretty much the same strategy as last time. Stalker coming up. Here's the Reaper. So the Stalker should come out here pretty quickly to knock out this Reaper. Let's see if this Reaper gets any kills here. It doesn't look like it's going to succeed. Getting chased around by this Zealot. How demoralizing is that got to be as a Zealot, right? Just chasing after this Reaper. Never being able to catch up with this Reaper, able to just like stop and shoot at you time and time again, knocking out the shields and then hit points, but nothing beyond that. In front of the Terran base, we have a probe knocking, asking for maybe some tea and some company, but just getting denied after not getting any kind of call. Yeah, we have to ask questions later. Stalker coming out, investigating for a barracks, and it does spot the proxy barracks, pumping out Marines as fast as possible. An Adept coming out here to see what the commotion's all about. Reaper coming in, second Reaper coming in to see what kind of work done and get that, but he's going to see the Adept and the Stalker and decide that other things are better left to do, such as investigating around the map. Widow Mines have joined the fray in this instance. Nope. That would have been ugly. Can you imagine just the Adept unshading, continue to walk in, and this Widow Mine just absolutely obliterating the sky or from the ground. Would have sucked. Not what you want. And this Reaper, one problem, yeah, getting no work done except for a little bit of scouting. Dark Shrine does come up, so we're going to see that Dark Templar play, which saved the Protoss last game, but we're going to see if any of those Dark Templar are going to be able to break out of here and actually get some work done. Double shield battery coming up, which is probably a very wise move, except we have a siege tank supported by Marines here, and this is not looking good. The longer this goes on, the less likelihood this Protoss is going to be able to break this. If that bunker comes down, supported by the missile turret, so any Dark Templar is not going to be able to stay close or be able to hide or sneak past. So getting out of this is going to require a warp prison, which is not going to, probably not going to happen this time around if any. Nope. Yeah, this is what happens. Double siege tank just blowing away, not in these Stalkers. Dark Templar, once that missile turret, yep, there's the missile turret. No chance for any cloak play. Shield batteries coming down, Nexus is getting destroyed. If these probes have not been alive for more than 40 seconds and mining minerals, they do not pay for themselves. This is going to be an empty investment. If let's see, how many probes are we doing? Say 12 probes? Yeah, we have 10 probes, plus this base. So that is 500 minerals, 800 minerals, gallon of drain for the Protoss player, not in any kind of return. Yeah, that looks like that was basically just one. So that's really rough. Second missile turret coming up here to make sure that no shenanigans is going to be played by Dark Templar, supported by tanks and siege tanks, backed up by Marines. So this is a really ugly bunker coming, getting salvaged back here. This is a really ugly fight for the Protoss. Dark Templar coming in the background here. We're going to see if this gets any kind of work done. Looks like this Dark Templar is going to straight up run to the enemy base to have a repeat of last game. And hey, if Terran doesn't build any kind of defenses back here, that's exactly what's going to happen. We have no missile turrets, no detection, aside from the orbital command. Looks like we will have a siege tank that's going to rally and defend this base. Oh. What just happened? That plan just got shot out of any possibility of happening. Templar trying to knock down as many of these siege tanks as possible. Doing a really good job, by the way. This is exactly what the Protoss needs, and you either go in and destroy it or don't. Like you can't go back and forth on that. One extra hit could mean victory or defeat. But here, oh. I don't know if this was a good call. You can leave it in your comments in the comments below. You have a Dark Templar, sees two tanks heading towards your bank or towards your base. I mean, this Dark Templar is close to being able to come in here and obliterate this mineral line. We have a missile turret that's able to do some detection work, But that's a lot of SCVs that the Dark Templar can knock down and slow down that economy as much as possible. And boy, that's a tough call. Do you take out these 2 tanks, or do you move on by and take out as many SCVs and knock down as possible? The Terran worker-wise is 26 to 29, so behind worker-wise, but still, it's a 1 base versus 1 base. This is a razor's edge here. A bad move by either side is going to make or break this game. The Zealots were able to knock out these tanks, which is exactly what you want as a Protoss player. But we see here, this gets scanned, and 2 tanks versus 1 Dark Templar. I mean, as soon as you got scanned, you might as well just try to take out that siege tank. I think the Dark Templar would have taken out 1 by the very least for his life and not just looking away. Widow Mine factory in the Protoss region, pumping out a Widow Mine to disrupt this as much as possible. That's... I think... Oh, I mean, I know he sees this, right? Yep. Runs away, keeps one of the probes here. Good micromanagement by the Terran player to cause as much mayhem as possible. Realizes that he's not going to get a whole lot of work done. He's just, this is one hell of a scan. You get a scan? No. Okay. Dark Templar takes this out. So instead of at least taking out 1 probe, that the Widow Mine does get taken out. Dark Templar coming in to save the day. Utilize this factory. 2 Zealots. This game turned around. I did not expect this. Did not expect this. Looks like... What happened? Did a Dark Templar knock this out too? Oh, okay, we had a Zealot run by, causing the Terran to have to focus back on her base and not be able to micro and build up as much as possible against his opponent. So this stuff like this takes attention away from attacking. Even if those Zealots would have been destroyed, that meant that instead of focusing completely on attacking you and having that morale and focus against you, they have to now hunker down and bring their forces back home to make sure that they don't lose their base. So, and that's exactly what's going on here. 30 workers to 30 workers. Terran is now building up as much as possible. However, still on 1 base, 1 command center is coming up. Let's see how this plays out. Protoss is behind the Terran forces after dealing with all of those shenanigans, but is soon going to be taking the economic lead with 2 bases. That factory is definitely going to down this CB, or a mule comes in. Fine. I mean, if wonder, no. What do you do in this situation? Do you try to save the factory with a mule? 240 resources. I mean, I feel like that factory is worth saving if possible, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen. That requires a little bit of attention. The mule is not available, and we need as many mules as possible. That's a tough call. Leave it in the comments below. Would you have tried to save that factory? That looks like the only option to be able to save it. Dark Templar coming up before the Terran forces, or against the Terran forces, although unless he's able to sneak in here and get some work done. Nothing. This Templar is really only here for scouting purposes. Is it going to get spotted by the Terran? Get spotted? No. There is no detection here for the Terran, but we did see that little bit of movement by the cloaked Templar. Archons are coming up for the Protoss, fortified by sentries, and a Raven. Exactly what the Terran needed here last game, is going to start grassing. Good kills. He get 2? 3 kills. 3 kills with that. Quick expanding into a third base by the Protoss, really taking on that unit as much as possible. Very wide, very smart. Full on hard lines. Artemis supporting this very small army, 27 to 22. It's amazing how like this is the Protoss army, right? There's just a few forces, and the value is so much more. You can even take a look here now. Terran, even though the population count favors the Terran, army is now 34 to 26. So being very cautious about this. Dark Templar gets taken out by not paying attention. There's no saving that Dark Templar now. The best you can probably hope for is taking out a couple Marines, but nothing happens. You gotta be careful with that. That's rough. Okay, I'm gonna speed it up here a little bit. I'm not entirely sure what's gonna be happening. We are at the 9-minute mark. A scouting hallucinated Phoenix coming in here to see what the big commotion is. And that is, looks like we're gonna have a Widow Mine drop in just a second. Liberator coming in and knocking out a few more probes. 5 probes go down, 36 to 34. Both are struggling to really seize some kind of advantage over each other. Does he pay attention? DisK does not see this. It's cool watching like who's paying attention where. This is whoever added this feature. Wow, 11 probes go down by the Widow Mine drop. That is rough. 38 to 28 workers. Boy. Yeah, whoever added this, by the way, in Blizzard, thank you. That's absolutely brilliant. Being able to see what the people are seeing and paying attention to on the map is definitely one of the coolest things you can actually do here. And it's interesting to see, like, especially like just that jumping around bit. Terran is taking a commanding economic lead, 41 to 36 with 2 bases. 3 bases have been completed by the Protoss, but the first base is being mined out. First base for the Terran is also mined out. So that economic lead by the Terran forces is not going to hold out much longer unless another command center or this command center is relocated. Terrans are focusing heavily on just having straight up Marines. Stem pack being used to take out the Zealot. I don't know if that was worth it, but hey, the Medevac does have the energy to be able to just top these Terrans off, so making sure that Zealot is taken out. Psionic Storm being researched in the Templar archives. Proper counter this game. Now we're seeing really good counter play by the Protoss. That Psionic Storm can knock out a huge amount of Terran forces if balled up just like this. This could quickly go one way or another, depending on who gets the proper shots off first or second. First and second. If you get, it's one thing to get like the first shot or the first volley. It's another thing to get the first and second volley as your opponent is trying to figure all this out. Make your best guess now. We have an 88 army supply versus 51 by the Terran forces. We have this nice ball of Marines and tanks, and MaSa is known to utilize these tanks not in siege mode, so they are probably going to be getting shots off and not waste any valuable time going into siege mode. Siege mode, I've seen a lot of games where tanks go into siege mode and really lose out on any kind of potential damage versus if they were to stay as a siege tank and just get that consistent knocking out of units. Because the question is, if you could knock out 1 or 2 units right away, that means that unit is no longer in the fight. If you have that splash damage as a siege tank in siege mode, yes, you do deploy a wider area of damage, but it takes longer to knock out forces. You don't get that concentrated fire. So we do have 3 siege tanks here, so that would be worth it. Definitely worth it. And only 1 stalker. Not a lot of ways to knock out these medevacs. We do have a Raven for detection. I don't think there is any Dark Templar on the field here. There is not. But MaSa is playing it safe with a well-balanced army here. No, yeah, Widow Mines, Marines, and tanks. Fighting on here, there is a fully charged shield battery, which is currently being overcharged. Make your best guesses now as to how this fight goes down. And I'm going to start it here. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit and pause in between fights. We have a good wall off of those Marines. I'm pretty sure the Templar. Where are the Templar? Wait, are there any Templar, or did he just morph them? I guess he just morphed the Templar, even though he was researching Psionic Storm. So we're not going to see Psionic Storm be played out here. Oh, here we go. No, we have 3 Templar. Okay, they are all in the Warp Prism. All right, here we go. Good fighting so far. Good wall off. Zealots falling back into that shield battery. Warp Prism dropping off Templar and knocking out a lot of that Bio army with the Psionic Storm. And here's basically halfway through the fight, 67 army supply versus 25 Archons with that splash damage able to knock out groups of enemies. Those siege tanks did siege up. That's going to give them that range bonus as well as that splash damage. And there's not a lot here for the Protoss to fight with, even though Protoss is capable of building up Zealots on the front line. This is looking like they're just outnumbered here. Archons getting juggled by the workers. Good micro. Probably the best that you can hope for playing in this little fight here. Yeah, the Archon getting to see battle. Wow! Just amazing! Just amazing! Like that fight, I really thought Terran was going to take that home. We have supporting forces coming in, and that's where a lot of that supply is currently tied up in. I thought that was just going to be almost a near slaughter. Okay, DisK calls GG, giving the victory to MaSa. I'm going to back up here. I want to see that fight again. So this was the deciding fight between these two players. DisK realizing that he did not have what he could not come back from this fight, and arguably rightfully so. This is his third base. He is ahead in the economy, but he does not know that. He has taken higher losses than the Terran, but again, he does not know that. This fight, this was a hard fight. Reinforcing play back to this. Good juggling by the Protoss. We have a shield battery overcharge on cooldown. Yeah. I'm gonna zoom in here just a little bit more. There just wasn't enough damage. Good game by MaSa. So a little bit different from last game where they did a base trade, and in this game, just a straight up fight. Good job in the very early game though, breaking out of, I mean, that would have killed lesser players. I want to back up and see, where was that? We're going to go way back here. Really analyze these fights. Okay. Seek out a little bit more. So this was... So at about the 6-minute mark, the Protoss has to fight out of this. This is rough. This is a rough fight. We're gonna look at this one more time. So as the Protoss player, you don't know what's about to be down here. All you know that there is a bio army with some tanks and sieged up, and this is what you have. This is what you have to go with. Look at this. 11 Zealots and 2 Stalkers versus 7 siege tanks and 5 Marines.
Research complete.
This is what you're trying to fight. Just take it to the base. And they succeed. Like, they fight this off. These Zealots fight off this army. Get blasted over here. It's like shooting a pea shooter against these Zealots, and it just wasn't enough. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Great game. Great breakout, too. Good job on the Protoss part being able to take that out. I hope you all have a wonderful day. That was just an amazing 2 games. I'm just astounding play by both sides. Keeping up the economy, spending all their resources, building up bases properly, building up counters this game, frustrating your opponent with these constant little attacks. Well played by both players. Good job.